The men's soccer team made it to the MAC finals for the 4th time in 8 seasons. Did the Bobcats come out victorious?
After making the NCAA tournament in their last full season, the Quinnipiac baseball team has just 4 wins in 20 tries this year. Jacob Resnick stops by to let us know if the Bobcats can save their spring.
Plus, the story of how one high school coach inspired 2 Quinnipiac athletes after his cancer diagnosis.
Grab a comfy seat, maybe some popcorn, and lock in for the next 30 minutes because Sports Paws is on the air. Studio 125 is the place to be for Sports Paws. Jonathan Banks here, Katie O'Keefe there. And Katie, we start our final appearance on Q30 television tonight with some really good playoff action.
Yes, we do. So let's take it over now to the soccer field where the Bobcats headed into the semifinals of the MAC tournament just last Wednesday. Top-seeded Quinnipiac beat Fairfield 2-1 with goals from Tomas Selvacula and Brog Asen. David Burkado, Jordan Bennett, and Paulo Suarez also added assists to the game as well. This win gave Quinnipiac the chance to win just their 2nd ever MAC championship title. Jonathan, there's a lot of stakes here, and for that game, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Number 6 Monmouth, the true Road Warriors. They beat number 3 Niagara. They beat number 2 Ryder. Could they beat number 1 Quinnipiac? You see the Bobcats celebrating on your screen against Fairfield. Well, they're going to have a big matchup in Hamden against the Bobcats, and it's going to start in the MAC championship game. Number 1 Quinnipiac facing the true Road Warriors, like I just mentioned, number 6 Monmouth, and this was a really good game, Katie. MAC championship, Quinnipiac looking to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2013. Monmouth 2014 in the first half. Paulo Suarez with an opportunity, but it's blocked away by Robin Oswald. And then later in the half, Sebastian Rodriguez is on the scene, but he smashes his effort off the crossbar. The Virginia Tech transfer almost with one of the biggest goals in the history of the Monmouth Hawks. But we're scoreless after the first half, and we're going to enter the second half here. And Ben Sikowski with a good effort, but Jared Mazzola is equal to it with a really good fingertip save. So nice. You'll have to see that one twice. Sikowski was Monmouth's best player on the day. He couldn't score. And Tomas Vekula with the Bobcats had a chance, but that was always rising. Then with 4 minutes left, Julian Gomez is on the scene. And the Monmouth Hawks are headed to the NCAA tournament. Julian Gomez played on the best high school team in the country, and he plays on the best college soccer team in the MAC. A 1-0 win for the Monmouth Hawks. A heartbreaking end to the season for Quinnipiac. But when you step away from that initial feeling, it was an exciting season for the Bobcats. And now, Katie, we're going to get into their top 3 moments of what was a really weird, unprecedented spring season.
Let's see it.
Play at number 3 of the top 3 moments. This was the home opener, 68th minute. Brog Asen, he's going to have a say in this all-MAC first-team selection, but here into the path of Aurillac Villa with a rocket. A 1-0 win over Niagara. Aurillac Villa is the most efficient goal scorer in the history of the Quinnipiac Bobcats in 2019. 4 goals on 7 shots. That's 1 goal on 1 shot there. Play number 2 against Siena, the return of assistant coach Grassi Brito, and there's Asen again. He's a special talent, a special player, and chips it into the path of David Burkado, the transfer from Ohio Valley. His first game-winning goal is a Bobcat there, and play number 1, same game, but earlier on. It's going to be Svekula running the channel. Aurillac Villa is going to wait inside. He had play number 3, and he has a great impact on play number 1. Behind the back to Svekula, and that is a great finish. Cool as you like. And is that Cristiano Ronaldo or Tomas Svekula there? Svekula taking the celebration of one of the best players in the world. I'm not a fan of that. I think you need your own trademark celebration. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I couldn't tell the difference between the two. They both did it really well, so maybe he should get his own thing. I don't know.
The only difference, Cristiano Ronaldo is in Italy, Tomas Vekula, Hampton, Connecticut.
Very
That's
different.
Neither here nor there. But for more on the Quinnipiac men's soccer team, we welcome in Roberto Casillas. And Rob, you're covering the team with me every step of the way this season. Appreciate all the Zoom calls that we're on together. But the final, it was the first time all year that Quinnipiac was shut out this season. What were your thoughts on the match against Monmouth where the Hawks went away as winners?
Yes, Jonathan, thank you so much. It was really a very competitive game of soccer, what we saw Saturday here in Hamden. You said it. They got shut out for the first time in the season, and it was a very, very tight game. From the moment it started, you could see that both teams were ready for it. They were up to the challenge. but it was a very close, hard-fought game. Scoring chances were very scarce during the entirety of the game. I think that both coaches came up with a very solid defensive game plan, and especially Monmouth. They knew Quinnipiac was a heavy favorite. They knew all the problems that front three could cause. So they prepared for a good, solid defensive game plan, and they just wanted to hit you with a counterattack. And that's exactly what happened throughout the game. Quinnipiac dominated possession, but once they got to that final third, they really couldn't do much with the ball. Like, imagination was lacking throughout the game for the Bobcats. And Monmouth, they didn't really have the ball, but they had some really clear chances. You could argue that the clearest chances of the entire game were for Monmouth because of those counterattacks with Julian Gomez, with Sebastian Siskowski. I think that eventually Quinnipiac started feeling the pressure. I think as time started ticking down, as they saw that the clock was winding down in the season, I think some pressure started to get in. Scenes from 2 years ago, losing in the final, 1 year ago, losing in the semifinal, all at home, and as time winded down, I think a little doubt crept in their mind. Are we the best team in the MAC? Can we win this? And that's when, with only 4 minutes left in the game, miscommunication in the back, all alone, Julian Gomez in the back, taps it in, 1-0 Monmouth, and then after that, what are you going to do? There's only 4 minutes left. So it was a hard-fought game, but I think eventually the outcome, I don't think you can argue with it. I think Monmouth deserved to win.
Certainly not in Quinnipiac's favor. It's still incredible, this game, this story, a 6 seed taking down the number 1 seed. Those are good stories, right?
They're phenomenal stories. I mean, this is why I watch March Madness in college basketball. You see it in college soccer. Monmouth played 6 of 8 games on the road, and they beat the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and the 3 seed. So they deserve to get the NCAA tournament.
Definitely. So, Rob, who was your team MVP from this game?
This is a really tough question because there were a lot of outstanding players on the team that obviously got the number 1 seed in the MAC. But I think, honestly, it's a pretty obvious response, and it's Brock Austin. I mean, what a sophomore season for the Norwegian magician, as I love to call him since last year. Love that nickname. But 5 goals and 4 assists in 9 games. Put that in perspective. Every time Quinnipiac started a game, they were basically up 1-0. Sorry, obviously not in the final, which that's a little tough. But 9 overall goal participations, either setting them up or scoring them. 14 points. Obviously led the team, but not only that, he almost led the team by double what anyone else had. David Bercedo was number 2 with 8. I mean, that's a very, very long distance in only 9 games. Brock Austin is a player that not many teams in the MAC have. He adds something completely different to the Quinnipiac Bobcats attack. He is very, very technically gifted, and he knows how to use dribbles and different sidesteps to create space where there doesn't seem to be any. He's very gifted with the ball. He puts it on the string. It's very difficult to keep him at him, and I would be surprised if he's not an all-MAC first team, and I think he has an argument to be considered MAC Player of the Year.
I agree with that, Rob. Brock Austin is my player of the year. Katie, he's like the Taylor Swift of the Quinnipiac men's soccer team. He's very skillful, and everyone knows how talented he is. He's more talented than everyone else. As you know, Taylor Swift is obviously the most talented artist of all time, right?
Now I can relate to it, and yes, she is.
Exactly. But lastly, Taylor Swift is not an unsung hero, nor is Brock Austin. But for you, Roberto, who is the unsung hero of the Quinnipiac men's soccer team this season? A lot to choose from. Who do you think flew under the radar with all the success the team had?
Under the radar, I think we've talked a lot about many different players during the whole season. I think one of the players we haven't mentioned, or we've mentioned very little, is Domen Bosic. What a fantastic sophomore season Domen Bosic had. He started on every single game after only starting 5 games in his rookie season, where there were obviously more games because of no pandemic and all that. But he's a very, very solid defender and a key piece in the back line of Eric DeCosta's team. He's fantastic in the air. He knows how to play the air. He's very dangerous in set pieces on an attack, and he's very, very strong defensively. He also isn't afraid to make runs ahead. You saw that game against Siena. Quinnipiac needed a breakthrough, and it was his run that set up David Bercedo's eventual game-winning goal to reach the semifinals. Domen Bosic was subbed off in the 84th minute of the final. He was man-marking Julian Gomez the entire day. It was a personal fight between the two of them, and a matchup that Domen Bosic had been able to control against one of arguably the most dangerous player on Monmouth. He gets subbed off. 2 minutes later, ball game. End of story. So you can see how important Domin Bosic was, and he's my unsung hero of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that quickly. And also, on that graphic, it said midfielder, but he started all 6 games at right back, so he played on defense, shows he's willing to do whatever it is for the team, Katie.
Definitely. But now with the end of the men's team, let's head over to the women's team, where they hosted Monmouth for a MAC semifinal matchup. Let's roll the tape and see how they did. Quinnipiac hosting Monmouth here. It's the 19th minute. Rebecca Cook looking for Gretchen Cron in the box. However, the header is wide. No score here. Taking you now later to the first half, Jessie Rosman making a move on Olivia Scott. First-year Sofia Lospinoso punches it right over the net. That was a great save there by the Monmouth goalie.
That's a lot of athleticism, something I do not possess sitting here behind this desk.
Me neither, Jonathan. Second half, just over a minute in, Lauren Caravan loses Katie Schwartz in the box. Left foot strike, finds the top corner, and now the Hawks lead 1-0. What a celebration.
That's a beautiful goal, too, bringing it onto her weak foot and just passing it right into the far corner. Great goal for Monmouth, and they're in the driver's seat here.
And now Selena Salas from the corner. The ball's going to bounce around there in front of the net. Fleur Cordier has a shot, but it goes off the crossbar. Best chance was right there for Quinnipiac, and they lost it.
And when you're playing a team like Monmouth, who's won the MAC for 4 straight years, you have to take advantage of those.
Oh, definitely. And now Lauren Caravan finds Lauren Bruno wide open, makes a move, and beats Lo Spinoso, secures the win for the Hawks. Monmouth is moving on to play Siena in the MAC finals.
Shout out Jack Mann on that as well. His victory lap about Monmouth being better than Quinnipiac a little too early as the Hawks advance to the MAC final. Monmouth would move on to that final, but the 4-time defending champions of the MAC would be denied by the Siena Saints on penalty kicks after a scoreless match. This was the first time since 2014 a championship game was decided on kicks from the spot. In Siena, they were picked to finish 8th in the preseason poll, but they won the regular season title and took down number 3 Monmouth in the final. Now the NCAA tournament in North Carolina on April 27th, they will take on the Arizona State Sun Devils. On the other side of the break, hockey pucks and lacrosse balls take over as we have highlights and award news. Plus, Jacob Resnick stops by for everything you need to know about Quinnipiac baseball. See you on the other side.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
I'm on Jules spotting on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. Quinnipiac men's ice hockey senior and captain Odin Tufto was named to the All-USCHO first team last Thursday. Tufto is only the second Bobcat in program history to be named to this team. He joins Eric Hartzell, who graduated in 2013. Tufto is certainly one of the most decorated Bobcats here at Quinnipiac. This past season, he was named ECAC Hockey Player of the Year, first-time All-ECAC Hockey, and a top 10 finalist for the Hobie Baker Award. He finished his collegiate career with 38 goals, 122 assists, and 333 shots. Women's ice hockey, on the other hand, Grace Markey was also recognized by the ECAC Hockey. The senior assistant captain won the Sarah Devons Award, which is given to a player who leads both on and off the ice. The award also comes with a $10,000 post-graduation scholarship. Markey is not only the team's community service leader, but she is also the president of the Q Corps Club on campus, which leads the community service efforts on campus. She also helped raise $2,000 for the team's annual Do It for Darren mental health awareness game.
I heard post-graduation scholarship on that. I want to know that, but congrats to Grace Markey on all the work that she was doing. On to the cork, though, now, as the athletes here call it. Quinnipiac and Canisius men's lacrosse from Saturday morning. Let's roll the tape. Quinnipiac taking on Canisius for Senior Day. Bobcats looking to win their third straight. You see the teams huddling up. They're going to take you into the first quarter. 6 seconds left. Evan Perry, just like Matthew Perry from Friends, Katie, this is the one where he bounces the ball into the net for a 3-3 game. Did you like that reference?
We love that reference. Who doesn't love Friends?
I love Friends. Me as well. I also have friends here. Like you, Jake Tellers has friends, and that's to Dylan Donnery, who rips that one in. Not the last time we'll hear his name for the Bobcats. And then later on in the quarter, a few minutes later, Will Abbott, I don't need friends, I can do it all by myself, the wraparound goal. Quinnipiac takes a 6-4 lead, but Canisius would fight back. Dan Kritkowski scores there. Canisius down 4, headed into the half. A really good one in hand, in Quinnipiac looking for their third straight win. Third quarter, Dylan Donnery. I don't even need to look at the goal if I'm going to score. A nice behind-the-back goal there. Quinnipiac up 12-5. Katie, can you do something as athletic as that?
No, I couldn't even tell you what that's called.
You have lacrosse sticks at your house, though, so you got to learn how to do something. Maybe not as good as Jacob Buck, though. He buries his 5th goal of the game. Canisius down 6. But it wasn't just Buck who had 5 goals. Dylan Donnery, again, with the emphasis of a great finish. That was the best one for last from Donnery. Quinnipiac would win this 16-12, and 4-1 in MAC play, Katie. They'll be back probably hosting a playoff game on the Quinnipiac soccer and lacrosse field.
Oh, I'm sure. They looked really good there. And with that, their team was also given some awards. First-year attack Dylan Donnery was named MAC Co-Rookie of the Week. This is Donnery's first time winning this honor. He has the most goals of anyone on this team this season, actually. He has 12 goals total, and one of those goals was a game winner in overtime, and that was against Monmouth. Donnery shares this honor with Canisius' Keegan Kozak.
I said Dylan Donnery's name so many times during that highlight. He had to win the player of the week offensively. But it wasn't just Donnery who made headlines. Bobcats goalie Nick DiMuccio was named MAC Defensive Player of the Week after he made 25 saves in 2 games at the weekend. Both wins at home for Quinnipiac. Now the Massachusetts native is having a stellar season between the pipes. A great save there that you just saw on your screen. His save percentage in the top 5 of the entire country. You see these clips flowing. That's how good DiMuccio has been for Quinnipiac.
And it just gets better because it was a really great week for the Bobcats. Because along with Donnery and DiMuccio, midfielder Dimitri George was made MAC Offensive Player of the Week. In this past week, the junior won 41 out of 45 faceoffs. That's a lot, Jonathan, right?
That's a lot.
He scored 3 times in 2 games also and picked up a team best 28 ground balls. George now has the second best faceoff percentage in the country at 76.3%.
Is that good? Second in the country?
I think so.
That's pretty great.
You
Good.
tell me.
Yeah, Dimitri George, really good guy, really good player as well. The Quinnipiac baseball team had a 4-game series against Canisius scheduled to be played in Hampton this past weekend, but due to COVID-19 protocols in the Tier 1 testing group of the Golden Griffins, the series was canceled. The Bobcats will return to play May 1st against Manhattan, but before we get to that matchup, we have to welcome in our baseball guy, Jacob Resnick. Jacob, thanks for joining us, and I got the first question for you. That's going to come up here. Quinnipiac is 4-16 right now. No hiding behind that record, especially after they made the NCAA tournament in their last full season. What's been the major factor behind their, let's face it, bad first half?
Yeah, well, thanks. First of all, thanks a lot for having me on. Yeah, you said it right there. It has not been a great start for the Quinnipiac baseball team, and obviously it's a weird season, right? 40 MAC games only, no non-conference games, and usually you have that month, maybe month and a half on the road to start the season. playing these non-conference games in Texas and Florida and Georgia to really work out the kinks and work through everything. But straight into MAC play this year. Let's start with what has been good. The offense has been great. They're third in the MAC in runs scored. They're up there in batting average, slugging percentage, up there in home runs. The rotation has been better than we expected coming into the season, currently with a 4.61 ERA. But in the end, it's the bullpen. The bullpen currently just 2 ticks under a 10.0 ERA at 9.98, and you're not going to win very many games when your bullpen is not keeping you in it. So they're going to have to lock in. They recognize that this has been an issue for them so far. The starters have been keeping the bats in the game, but it's really the bullpen that's been taking them out of the games.
Well, now, Jacob, along with that, do you think playing doubleheaders every weekend is affecting their play? I mean, like you said, this is a very different season, and I'm sure that's a lot on them, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. I mean, they've played doubleheaders in the past, I think, is what it comes down to, and this team is going to be the last group to ever make excuses. And I think, when you have doubleheaders on the schedule, that's what you're going to play. And, it is tough when you need a fourth starter every weekend. You're used to just needing 3 guys and then turning it to your bullpen. And sometimes that fourth game has been the bugaboo for them. But, it's kind of interesting to look. They've actually been better in the second game of these doubleheaders. 3 of their 4 wins have come in the second game of a doubleheader. So I think they're not going to make excuses, like I said. But if you want to point to that as a reason, I think you certainly can.
Jacob, the bullpen hasn't been good. Like you mentioned, the ERA was, quite honestly, so high I don't even remember it. It was 9-something. The team fielding hasn't been great. But how do the Bobcats turn this around? Because this is a team, like I keep saying, a year removed from the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like I said, the bullpen just has to be better. The bats have been great. The rotation has been very, very good. Sophomores have been better than expected for this team. But the bullpen just has to keep it together, and they recognize that. They've had team meetings where they look at one another and say, we have to be better. Top 8 teams are making the playoffs this year. It's usually the top 6, top 8. So 8 out of 11, you just got to sneak in there. And then as we've seen in the past, this team is always liable to break out the magic and make a run in the tournament. So let's just get to the end of May, and then we'll see where this team can take it from there.
Always a pleasure, Jacob. Thanks so much. Just in time now for one quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the softball team's doubleheaders and maybe even some golf. Jonathan, I don't know, we'll see, but we'll be right back.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
We get to be here with you tonight on Sports Paws, and that's a privilege. To be able to live your life to the fullest is something most of us take for granted. We get to have that opportunity. Matthew Desi DiStefano coached Quinnipiac Volleyball Juniors Daniela Balsano and Nicola Migliozzi at the Long Island Volleyball Academy and used the saying, "We get to," as his mantra as he fought through his cancer diagnosis. Ryan Coop has more on an inspiration to us all.
In sports, a coach is constantly teaching their athletes new things. But for Nicole Migliozzi and Danny Balsano of the Quinnipiac women's volleyball team, a coach at their former Long Island Volleyball Academy taught them more than just the X's and O's. He taught them a new way to value life.
Coach Desi was the most selfless coach ever. He captained his team when he was younger, and then as he grew up, he continued to coach the sport of volleyball, and it was honestly no surprise to any of us that once he was diagnosed with cancer, he still made it about other people, and he started his foundation to raise money for other people with cancer. He didn't take anything for himself.
After being diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer in February of 2019, Matthew Desi DiStefano spent whatever time he had left making a difference in the lives of others.
So after he was diagnosed, he started the Desi Strong Foundation, which was raising money for families all over who have been affected or are fighting the battle against cancer. He also went around to different colleges, including UNC and Duke, to be a motivational speaker and preaching his "We Get To" mantra.
Coach Desi taught people to value the little things in life with 3 simple words. We get to.
We get to wake up. Like, we get to go for a walk. We get to go for a run. We get to go to work. Like, everything, like, we're able to just get up and be alive. So, like, take every day that you live to, like, the best.
A lot of his speeches, he's like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to wake up. You don't have to go to work. But his, like Danny said, his main mission is that you get to do it. And he received the phone call of his diagnosis at 4:45 in the afternoon. So now he would wake up at 4:45 every morning to start his workout with an alarm labeled "We Get To." So now everyone that I personally know in our community at home, we have a reminder set at 4:45 in the afternoon every day labeled "We Get To," just to remind ourselves that we don't have to do anything in our lives and that we have the ability to get to do it.
This year, Nicole and Danny will participate in Quinnipiac University's Q-Thon event, not only to raise money to end the fight against cancer, but also to continue Coach Desi's legacy.
We will both be attending Q-Thon on Saturday, and it's just another We Get To event that we get to go stand and dance for hours and support these kids who hopefully with our help can have a little brighter future, or at least a brighter day.
To learn more about the life and legacy of Coach Desi or to donate to the Desi Strong Foundation, you can visit www.desistrong.org. For Q30 Sports, I'm Ryan Coop.
A beautiful story there. Great reporting by Ryan Coop to really dig deep into that awesome story. We got your top 5 plays now, though. The best 5 of the week. And this is going to get really good for these top 5 plays. We got lacrosse and we got soccer to get to.
Let's see it, and you've probably seen some of these plays before, but you'll see them again.
Number 5, we're going to lacrosse. Katie, this was the Friends reference. Give me a better title than the one that Evan Perry bounces it in.
I really can. It's perfect. It describes it and it gives the reference.
Quinnipiac would win 16-12.
Play number 4, we head to the women's Max Soccer semifinals. It's Alessa Carrero with the first beautiful touch, then the shot. Quite the play from the Monmouth forward.
Monmouth gets a goal in play number 4 to clinch their spot in the MAC final in the same side that we are here, as Julian Gomez is on the scene and he finishes past Jaron Mazzola. The Monmouth Hawks are dancing. They'll take on Bowling Green April 29th in the NCAA tournament.
At play number 2, we head back to the men's lacrosse team's matchup against Canisius and check out Dylan Donnery, the MAC Rookie of the Week, going back for the goal.
Play number 1, so nice, we'll see this one twice. Lauren Carabin tucked into the left corner. Monmouth just destroyed that side of the Quinnipiac Soccer and Lacrosse Stadium in the last few days. 3 goals in our top 5 plays there.
Very exciting. But now it's time to wrap things up tonight, as it's mine and Jonathan's last time at this desk anchoring this show. It's been the best ride, though, and I couldn't be happier to close out the show with you.
That was really nice, actually. We met in the media suite here, and we're leaving together in style, I guess you could say. There's no one else I'd rather be here finishing off this show with. But that's all the time we got tonight. Make sure to check out our coverage on Q30TV.com and also follow us on Twitter. You know the drill, on Q30 Sports. For the final time, for my co-anchor Katie O'Keefe, I'm Jonathan Banks, and for everyone who has worked on Sports Paws for the last 4 years with us, thank you and have a good night.